Actually, close my door.
All right. All right, everybody. We are live. Let me know that the audio is good. I am Brian with Comic Breakdown. I hope you guys are excited as I am today because today we are going to be diving into some awesomeness with Blurred Without Fear. Ernie, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, even though most of us probably already know who you are.
Well, hey, you never know. You never know. I assume nothing. But yes, I'm Blur Without Fear. I talk a lot about X-Men and and Daredevil from time to time. So there you go. But yeah, I'm a dude.
All right. So today we're going to be diving into all thing that is Sins of Sinister. If you guys didn't check out, Ernie did a crossover with Dave on Comic Book Herald. I listened to it earlier today. It was absolutely phenomenal. Comic Book Herald is always my go-to guy for information when I don't know what's going on with X-Men. He's going to know.
Same. I defer to Dave a lot. If he says it, I'm like, you know what? I believe it.
It's probably right.
It. He would know. If no one else knows, he knows.
Yeah. No. So I also want to talk to you because you mentioned Bishop's War College in there. And I think that has some implications into what is currently going on with the Sins of Sinister and how we now have individuals in the pit. So we're going to dive into talking about Bishop War College and see if that connects at all and see what ramifications might be coming out of that. So yeah, Sins of Sinister, Mr. Sinister, 1,000 years ruling. Everybody's become sinister. Everything is sinister. The world, the universe, everything's in turmoil. Everything's falling apart. Different factions are coming at one another. You have Emma Frost is turning into a Gundam. You know, you have freaking Xavier, who he just turned into a planet. And that was out of left field. I did not expect that. So there's a lot of things that were going on in here. What are your first initial thoughts when you dove into Sins of Sinister? What did you expect to be getting into?
Man, I'm not gonna lie. This book was nothing that I expected it to be. From the word go. Like, I mean, you know, I think what was it? The main lead-in was Immortal X-Men. Yeah, we get to Immortal X-Men. What was the cliffhanger? It's Charles Xavier looking at a mirror with big fat red diamond on his forehead.
Yeah.
And everybody's freaking out. Everybody's like, oh my God. And like, it's like, okay, may the theory crafting begin. And we get there and it's like, I was one of the main ones. I was like, man, what if it's this? What if it's that? Ooh, they're calling back to this. They're calling back to that. I was like, oh man, it's going to be this deal where like, man, he's going to turn everybody sinister. It's going to be just insane. And technically that is what happened. But that was where the predictions stopped being correct.
Yeah.
Because then it turned into time travel.
Yes.
It turned in, or no, I won't even say just time travel, but just like us following a journey that spans like 1,000 years. It's like, what is happening here? Like anything after the Quiet Council turning sinister, all of my theories fell apart after that for the most part.
Yeah.
And I was glad because I didn't want this to be something that I could just be like, this is it. I guessed it. I wanted to be wrong about a lot of things. And there were some things I was kind of sad I was wrong about, but this was this was like X-Men with some Star Trek, with some, like, there was a little bit of Flash Gordon in there and some, and even some Star Wars. It was like, every like 80s sci-fi fever dream, whatever. That's what this was, but a good story.
Yeah, it's one of those stories that when I got into it, kind of know that what you're really going to get into. You know what I mean? You know what you're diving into. You know that this is Sinister's first test going through this new timeline that he's creating. And so you know that there's going to be a reset point. You know, obviously solicitations let us know that it's going to be 1,000 years before there's an actual reset, which is one of the longest Sinister has ever gone when considering his resetting of timelines using the Moira clones.
Right.
And so we really did know what he was going to get into. And so in that aspect, you knew how it was going to end more or less. Granted, they definitely threw in some curveballs in there that we're going to talk about once we get a little bit further on. But throughout that 1,000 years, and that's one thing I actually wanted to point out, is because I'm excited because another writer can come in, or these writers can come in at any point in time and continue on the lore in between these. If they decide they want to do a 5-issue limited series on, year 500, they can come back and do that. And you can still tell so much story left inside of this comic. And that's one thing I think that's really interesting about these comics, that you leave so much room. You leave so much room to be able to really find out more depth and more understanding of this. But I don't think they're going to do too much with it, to be honest. I think they're going to just showing, this is what happens when Sinister messes up, and now we're going to move on and show you something else. But when it first started, I really thought Kitty Pryde was going to have a heavy hand in this. When the council members were assassinated, essentially, she was like, yeah, I'm ready, I'm going. And the Marauders, they've been hyping her up. And, I was like, yes, Kitty Pryde's going to get her shining moment. And then Dominion comes and Kitty Pryde's like, yeah, let's go get them. And they're like, oh, we already took care of it. We got
it's like, that's it. That's it. Stop. No, I feel like, yeah, I agree. I think for anyone expecting the question of who is let's just go ahead and just say this right now. It's safe to say, and I think, I've seen some interviews too with Kieran Gillen that also kind of confirm this. Dave from Comic Book Herald said the same thing. And the more I hear, the more I'm like, yeah, whoever achieved Dominion status, it was a Sinister. We are not going to get the answer to who it was. I'll put it this way. I'm not holding my breath. I'm not holding my breath. I don't know who it is. The theory crafting that I have seen around it, some of it kind of leans in the directions of some things that I have said, that, it is a Sinister, and very likely there was a 5th Sinister clone that no one knew about. And then there's a lot of stuff that kind of leans in the direction of what I've heard Dave say, that it was a Sinister from one of Moira's previous lives.
Yes.
We will not know. It'll be, I don't want to say it's going to be a year, but I don't think it's going to be in the next 6 months. I'll put it that way.
I mean, if you look at all the X-Men stories through all the titles, we were just talking about how we've been reading most of the titles, even X-Force, how long has Kid Omega been gone? And he is just now finally showing back up, coming through a portal, looking old as heck and fighting an octopus with armor.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just like, it came out of nowhere.
Well, because he was forgotten. No one really talked about him after that issue of X-Force.
And then everything kicked off with Beast, and they're like, all right, well, we got to focus on this.
Yeah.
We can't worry about where Kid Omega is.
It's going to be, and well, if I'm not mistaken too, like, everybody's going to be, like, so we got Fall of X coming.
Yes.
We got Fall of X coming, and then before that, there's the Before the Fall titles. Was it Apocalypse? And I think it's Apocalypse and the Horsemen of I can't remember the name of that title. I just know I want to read it. And there's the Sinister Four, which is a book that should not make a damn lick of sense, but does. And I'm here for it. I forget the other ones. I think there's one with like Bishop, Cyclops, and Jay. I think that's the Cy Spurrier book. Gotcha. That's coming up, and then there's something else that I'm probably forgetting. But like, you got Nightcrawlers, or not Nightcrawler, but that was the book that already passed. Uncanny Uncanny Spider-Man with Nightcrawler, which that is the one I'm like,
manned out.
I'm like, oh my god, I just put it all in my face. I want all of it, but yeah, I don't foresee an answer for a while. Honestly, I'm okay with it if we don't get an answer for like, I don't want to go like too long, but I don't want to rush to it.
Yeah.
I don't want to rush to it. Let this, Fall of X stuff happen, and then we can gradually, gracefully move on from there.
I think we're going to see Mother Righteous really starting to become more prevalent within the whole comics. We've seen her with Sebastian. This thing, internet, This thing likes to mess up sometimes. But no, she had Sebastian Shaw. She tried going after Legion. You know, she's slowly trying to get the praise and because they really in Legion of X, they really focused on the aspect of having worship and stuff like that. Exodus has talked about this as well, and we've seen how that can really play out in the future. We've gotten glimpses of the future where, you know, we just had a giant Exodus who's a monster of a being, you know, all the worship. So I think Mother Righteous is taking that path. And so when we're going on theories of what we think really all this is going to lead to, who is Dominion, I really think I have two theories. I have that it's either Mother Righteous, but I feel like that's too obvious of a way to go for them. You know what I mean? I feel like it's too out there, like too right in your face. They like to throw curveballs. The reason I think it's Orbis is because of the red bubble that was in Dominion. And I have an idea that maybe that could be once was part of the World Farm or something of that nature, because we see what he does with the World Farm as time goes on. And it, you know, there's no saying that he doesn't just grow it and make it red. You know what I mean? Instead of being gold.
Yeah. Orbis Stellaris loves his orbs.
Yes.
Like he's never met an orb that he didn't like. He sits inside of an orb. He built an orb around the World Farm. The guy literally had a Death Star. Yeah, like he literally like I think what was it, Storm of the Brotherhood? Yeah, Storm of the Brotherhood of Mutants #2. That was literally like Lando Calrissian doing like the Death Star run in Return of the Jedi. That's literally that's what it was. There was it was nothing else. But no, it was there's what I love about this, and it kind of reminds me of some of the initial, you know, speculation people had back when House of X initially came out, when you had everybody was trying to figure out, dude, what the heck is Hickman talking about with these dominions, these singularities, titans? What? Because I'll be the first one to say, I admit, woefully ignorant of everything it was he was talking about. I didn't see it, didn't understand it, didn't get it, still don't even really get it. And I kind of vaguely get it, but I don't really get it. Yeah. And yet it kind of sparked this whole big, you know, conversation of, dude, what is coming? And we still, even after all this, we still don't like they've you know, Kieran Gillen, Cy Spurrier, Al Ewing have been really good about taking those notes from Hickman, taking those cues, building upon them, creating something that honestly I was like, I did not know this is where it was going. And yet here we are. We're still trying to figure it out. We still can't get it. But I'm okay with that. I'm perfectly okay with that, because
they definitely like to play the long game, and you know, it makes it entertaining. It makes conversations like this a lot of fun, because we can sit there and speculate all day on what we think is going to happen. And you know, they love throwing curveballs so much that we really don't know what's coming towards us. We can have the faintest idea. We can start to play with it a little bit. But the problem is they have so many. It's not even a problem. It's just what they have going on in the X. There's so many different stories of close destruction or annihilation coming to Krakoa. And this has been going on for so long now. It's been every other story arc. There's a new threat, whether it be Game World, whether it be Orcus, whether it be any of these things. And speaking, you know, we have Bishop War College right now, where Orcus is drilling underneath Krakoa, and they're trying to get to the pit. You know? And before Dominion came out, we believed that the pit was empty because Sabretooth and the Exiles had escaped.
They were gone.
That's another threat that's coming, is Sabretooth and all of his variants with his army. So you have that, and now we have 4 council members that have thrown themselves into the pit. And for those that, you know, may not remember, they threw themselves into the pit because Mother Righteous came to them and told them that when you are resurrected, the Sinister gene is in you, which means there is a possibility that he can take you over. And so it still baffles me, but the immediate thought process is, we need to do something about this. Throw us in the pit. And it's silly because you have Emma Frost, you have Charles Xavier, you have Exodus, and you have Hope. Some of the most important assets on Krakoa, and you throw them into a pit. And the problem is they don't even understand what the pit is.
No.
We do as the reader going through Sabretooth's trial, but they don't understand that.
No.
And now you have Orcus that is drilling its way there. Sabretooth, but really what they're going to probably run into is council members. And so what do you do with that?
See, and that's kind of what I was thinking. I was thinking, what if Sinister takes them over? Like, what if they become Sinister while they're down? Because here's the thing, and this is why I love this. And once again, these are things that I don't think about till I get to talking with somebody. So, you brought up Sabretooth and Sabretooth in the Exiles. What was one of the things we saw Sabretooth do that he wasn't supposed to be able to do in the pit? He was like, he was literally like, here's the thing, Sabretooth isn't psionic. He's not a telepath, but he was doing Charles Xavier level things down there. He created his own version of hell. We saw, what was it? Oh man, I think it was in Wolverine, where his influence had even infected Krakoa to where it was attacking Wolverine in the pit.
Yes.
So it's like, dude, what are y'all doing? So now, what does that mean? That Krakoa is going to attack Emma, Charles, Exodus, and Hope? Yep. Are they going to be trapped in hell? Like, what is down there waiting for them? Yep. That we don't we haven't seen yet. And then with everything that is happening with Orcus, they're using the Blight Swill, which is going to effectively depower Krakoa, if only temporarily. Yeah, and
it's sick right now.
Yeah, it's and then you talk about threats. We're not even talking about what's going on in Invincible Iron Man. They got Sentinels. Yeah. They got iron Sentinels, or can we call them Mutant Busters?
Yeah,
I'm like whatever they are. They're just actually no. If it was since it's Fei Long, he would call them Mutie Busters. That's what he would do. He's that guy. But no, I don't. Yeah, this is enemies are at the gates. Yes, this is enemies at the gates. Enemies on all sides. No one is safe.
Like yeah. How do you? Every time they throw this new challenge, and right now in Captain Britain, they're going against Furies from Otherworld. The Furies are joining with Morgan Le Fay, so they're all siding together now, and that's becoming a whole thing. And they're waging war on Britain, essentially saying that if you don't accept the Furies, then there's going to be problems. And Morgan Le Fay just wants to make it her own thing. She literally just had a conversation with Doctor Doom, and they're going to be teaming up. So there's so many from so many different angles, and it's nice to see that these writers can get out of these corners that they may have wrote themselves into, but it's becoming such a common thing that they're throwing something drastic at them, and then somehow they're able to skirt around it or maneuver around it. But with everything building up against them right now, especially now that Moira has all of this information that she never had previously. Like, she has stupid amounts of information spanning 1,000 years. It's absolutely ridiculous. And so how do you get out of this? How is there anything after the fall of X?
Right. It's going to be, and this is the thing that's going to be tough about it. So here's what we know. This is a little bit that we do know. Whatever happens at the Hellfire Gala, it's going to be the beginning of the end. Orcus is going to win. And just based on what we've seen in Bishop War College, that's not an unfair statement to make. With what Moira is cooking up, what Fei Long is cooking up. We've seen all of the respective enemies of the X-Men. All of them have been doing little things here and there to push to move the needle in their direction. Because Judgment Day, we can't forget about Judgment Day. Orcus is now a household name.
Yeah, and they still have Uranus
Yeah, they still have him on speed dial
to unleash whenever they want to.
Yeah, so I mean, so we know we're going to be seeing we know we're going to be seeing him again at some point. But once again, you've got you've got Orcus as a whole. They're on T-shirts. They're in balloons now. Nimrod is a household name. Fei Long now runs Stark Unlimited. Has all of the patents on Iron Man, can put him effectively in the poorhouse. He's technically already there, but he can take him to court now.
Yeah.
Because he's Iron Man. He's got Iron Sentinels running around. We've got, we don't even know what Dr. Stasis is doing. We don't even know what he's doing. He's doing something. We don't know what it is, but he's doing something. And you've got, here's the other thing we can't forget about. X-Men Red.
Yeah.
What's up with Abigail Brand now? Because she was working as a double agent. What is she still in? Is she out? She in? What's going on? Has she been burned? Like, has Orcus said, let's cut our losses? Or is she still trying to play, both sides against the middle?
Yeah.
It's just, it's so much. We haven't even talked to Alia Gregor. Dr. Alia Gregor is still out there, at Orcus acting a fool. And it just, God, man, there are so many enemies. There are so many enemies.
And that's been my thing. When I'm reading the X titles, I cannot help but notice how many enemies are lined up against them. And it feels like they're just setting it up for it all to fall down. And I don't see the part where this can be brought back. Everybody is gunning for them. It will take something very drastic to change. Like, they gave everybody resurrection. Not everybody.
Yeah. Well, yeah. They gave it was like the children and the sick.
Yeah. Like, you gave this to everybody, and it's still not enough for society to be like, know what, we're gonna pump the brakes on the hate. And we're gonna try working with you. We got the medicine and all that stuff. That's cool, but we still don't like you, so we're gonna have problems.
I just want to, for a moment, I want to touch on that for a second, because think about how insane that sounds. That superhumans, people who are born with superpowers, came up with medicines that will heal and cure you of anything, and that still wasn't enough. It was still like, nope, not good enough for me. I'm gonna need, you gave me medicines that can cure diseases that cannot be cured in real life. You've given me medicine that can extend my life. You have given me all this stuff, but you know what? Not good enough for me. I don't know. I want more. Well, here, we'll resurrect any children who die, unexpectedly. Any people who die of just unexpected circumstances. Here, we're gonna give you that. Nope, not enough. It's not enough for me to forget the hate in my heart.
Yep.
That is insane.
Yeah, and UK doubles down on it. Kind as a whole. Like
Ruben Brousseau is.
You don't want to cure this, okay?
Yeah.
You don't want to cure cancer.
Ruben Brousseau said, "Nope, keep your medicine, you damn dirty mutants." That's what he said, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. I was reading the comments, and you got a couple people saying, "Don't forget Children of the Vault," which is
that's the other one.
Huge thing that is out there that just sits there and is waiting to explode. They're temporarily held because of everything they've done, but that can only last so long. And how long before Orcus decides that they're just going to unleash them so that they can do what they're going to do?
Well, and the thing that's so deadly about them, what's so deadly about the Children of the Vault, is that one of them is fully aware of what's going on. Serafina, I think it is. I think it's Serafina is the one that caught Forge.
Yes.
In the vault and was like, "Nah, you can go." No, go. You take.
Like, I want to see where this plays out.
Yeah. It's like, I just want to see what happens. And it's crazy because we know what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
In the simulation, they destroyed everything.
Complete takeover.
Yeah. It wasn't just, we're getting rid of the mutants. No, we're getting rid of we're getting rid of mutants. We're getting rid of the Avengers, the Fantastic Four. We're getting rid of the magic community.
Yeah.
We're as Guardians, no one's safe.
Nope.
No one is safe.
Yep.
Why are we pretending these folks are not dangerous? And they were in the Matrix. They were in the Matrix when they did all that.
Literally, it was all a simulation. That was just the practice run.
Like, and also, are we ever gonna figure out like what's going on with Darwin? Are we ever gonna because I feel like that was
like there's so like, and that's another storyline that just left us hanging. It's just like, what's going on with Darwin? You know, at least we got old lady Wolverine now.
Yeah,
we got him back in there. Talon is what she's going.
Talon. I just appreciate that everyone has names now. I just appreciate everyone has names. I don't, she could be Talon. We got Fang now, and there's no more confusion. I
think they heard the fans on that one where it's like, oh. That's also Wolverine over there.
We have 8 Wolverines now. It's okay. Don't worry. Don't think too hard about it. And I think one of them is coming back. There's Albert. Because there's the I think, aren't they called the Dark X-Men?
I think so.
So which I was like, dude, who is checking for Albert? Who is checking for cyborg clone of Wolverine Albert? I don't know, but I feel like I say this now, and he's going to become my favorite character because that's what happened with Hellions. Yeah, I made fun of Hellions. I made fun of Hellions so bad when that book was first announced, and then it became top 5 dead or alive. And then they canceled it. So there you go.
Because Nanny and Orphan Maker, I've really come to love those characters so much, and we still barely know anything about Orphan Maker, even after Sabretooth and the Exiles.
Yeah, we still don't know what his power is.
We know he does something stupid powerful. We just don't know what it is.
And I'm not gonna lie, that's the one bad thing. That's the one, because I've loved Victor Laval on Sabretooth. Loved it. That book is fantastic. Can do no wrong. That's the one bad thing I'll say about the book is I felt like that was a missed opportunity to tell us what the hell he can do. But it's hinted.
Cloak and Dagger? Why the Cloak and Dagger? What's secretive about his abilities that you guys need to hide it from us? How is it going to play a part in the future is my question. Because if you're going to keep it something like that hidden for so long, there's got to be a purpose to it. There's got to be a reasoning behind it that he's going to be used for something at some point. We just don't know what that is yet.
Yeah. And it's the more we sit here and talk about this, the more I keep thinking man, there are a lot of dangling plot threads. I feel like it. You know what? This is what I'm gonna have to do. I now understand what I have to do. And I don't know why I didn't do this sooner. I'm gonna have to get one of those cork boards and just with all all the yarn and everything. Just oh my god. Okay, we got this. You know what? This Orcus up here. We got Xeno. Wait, that's wrapped up. Xeno's toast.
Don't forget the phalanx over here.
Yeah, it's and that's the thing. It's that's another thing I feel like people aren't talking about enough is that not only do we have the phalanx, but Nimrod has been surfing the astral plane,
attacking Legion.
Yeah, and apparently has a back door into Krakoa.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like I said, the more I sit here and think about it, I'm just like. And actually, I see someone in the chat that brought it up too, that talking about the legacy virus. If they bring back the legacy virus by way of Orphan Maker, I don't know if my heart would be able to handle that. Look, y'all don't. I don't know how many of y'all in here were kids when the legacy virus was running roughshod across the Marvel Comics universe, but I was there. And I'm not going to lie, it was a dark time, and I don't want to go back to it. I still have PTSD from the whole Psylocke debacle, and then them doing the Psylocke clone saga, basically with Quanon and Betsy. And it's like, oh no, I'm the real Psylocke. And by the way, I have the legacy virus. Why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this to me?
Nope, 100%. Yeah, I don't even. We're gonna have to see, because if it goes down that route, that's gonna take us a whole. I mean, it could go down that way. We have the Fall of X coming up. You never know.
Yeah.
They're probably going to do a lot of shock and awe when it comes to the Fall of X. We're going to see a lot of devastation, but at the end, there's probably going to be a little bit of light that shows how they can get out of that. But speaking back on Sins of Sinister, Rasputin 4 seems to be the fan favorite coming out of that title. Just absolutely adored by everyone. It's a mixture of 4 different mutants. I can't remember them off the top of my head. It was Wolverine, the female Wolverine.
Yeah, Laura Kinney. It's Laura Kinney and Colossus. There is I think Kate Pride is somewhere in there as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Amazing.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, I remember there being something about Eunice the Untouchable in there somewhere.
Yes.
Those are the ones I remember off the top of my head. As a matter of fact, and this shows just how obsessive. This shows how obsessive that I can be with this sort of stuff. There's another one whose name I am absolutely blanking on. Quinn Quire.
Okay.
Quinn Quire.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. So stupid powerful. Just ridiculously powerful. When she showed up, I kind of had a feeling that they were going to find a way to bring her back into the fold. They put her a lot of variant covers. They were making sure she was highlighted very well. She's gorgeous. She's one amazing fighter, can just take down. I mean, she almost took down Sinister if Sinister hadn't done what he done at the last moment. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And at the end, she does eventually take him down with ease because she's able to catch him by surprise. So what do you think her place is going to be in Krakoa moving forward? We've already gotten a few people that have come, time travelers that have ended up here in Krakoa. Most recently, it was in the Marauders. We had what was her name?
Cerebra from X-Men 2099.
Yes, Cerebra from 2099.
And then you had like the mutants from Threshold that came over, which I'm technically that's a distant past, but like for them it's Back to the Future for them.
2 million years ago.
Yeah. And I think one of them, a mass, has been like making the rounds, like jumping across different books. But yeah, Cerebra was was not the mutant I expected them to pull from 2099. If there was any mutant they would have pulled, she was not the one I was expecting. But I'm not against it. Not against it at all. I was very shocked that I was shocked at the nature of how Rasputin came through, but she was a standout even going back to like House of X Powers of 10. Yes. Where like, everyone loved her. Everyone loved her. I loved her. I was like, dude, what are you going to... I was like, I guess we're just going to pretend that she doesn't exist anymore. But she's back. And I think that the best role for her, I mean, I think she's definitely going to be what is effectively the herald of Mother Righteous. She's going to be the one that's out here singing Mother Righteous' praise. But I feel like eventually, somewhere down the road, she's going to meet the same conclusion that she met with Mr. Sinister. She's going to realize Mother Righteous is not who she says she is. That she is not the paragon of virtue that she pretends to be. And I feel like it might take a little bit longer. I hope it doesn't, but I feel like it might take a little bit longer because, I mean, hell, actually, no, I hope it doesn't take longer because it took her how long? It took her almost, what was that, 700 years to realize that Sinister was hot trash. Yeah. But no, so I hope it doesn't take that long. But I feel like probably within the next like 6 months worth of books, we'll probably see her realize Mother Righteous is not down with it. And I hope she finds her place on somebody's team.
Yes.
And I will say this too. I would not be upset either if we got a book with just Rasputin and Kitty Pryde, hanging out, because there clearly was some sparks that lit up between the two of them when they first interacted. The character I want to see, I want them to hurry up and get John Ironfire over here, and I mean now.
Yes,
I want more John Ironfire.
Yes. I heard someone saying that it would be pretty crazy if he were a descendant of Magneto, which would be an interesting way to go about it, because it would make sense that his blood is essentially any metal that he wants it to be. But yeah, he's an absolutely amazing character.
Oh, yeah.
Especially the fact that he lived as long as he did too. He lived a long freaking time and became, at first, when you first see him, you think it's Odin. You think it's the on Ironfire with giant horns.
Well, I just love the fact that the first thing he's like, oh, here, I'm going against a telepath. Let me cut my forehead and turn my blood into Magneto's helmet. It's like, okay, all right, let's go. This guy's great. Let's keep it going. What else you got? That literally every time he uses powers, more, show me more. I would like to see more. But yeah, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I believe we will be seeing him back when X-Men Red
that'll be awesome.
Comes back, I believe. But I definitely want to see him, and honestly, you know what? I just really loved the level of stan that he was for Storm. I just want to see this guy literally hold it down for Storm and nobody else but Storm. I didn't even pay attention when he was older. I didn't even notice till after going back doing a reread that on his belt it was Storm's headdress as his symbol, and I was like, look at this guy still carrying the torch after 1,000 years.
That's his goddess, bro. That is his goddess.
I was like,
around with that.
I was like, let's go. I want it. I was like, you know what? It's like they say, I want to be with someone who looks at me the way so and so looks at so and so. I was like, yeah, that's what I want. The way John Ironfire looks at Storm. That's the kind of level of dedication that I want. But no, and then Wagnerine. I think we will end up seeing Wagnerine again. I think so.
To actually survive the purge, if you will, when Sinister tried getting Dominion Hood. Yeah. And so with that survival, it's very curious on where her and her baby ended up and what's so unique about that baby too, because it's it's still clouded in mystery. We really don't know what is going on with any of that, but we do know that Wagnerine is a bad mofo. And and he has a bone to pick with Mother Righteous. And so that's going to be interesting to see if Wagnerine's able to come back and maybe even expose Mother Righteous for the fraud that she is.
Can we just have a team with all the, can we have a team book with all the time displaced people? Just get Cerebra, Wagnerine, get Rasputin. Just put them all in one book. As much as, you pull the curtain back a little bit. I was literally, before we went live, talking about how I'm there's just some books I'm just like, man, there's too many of them.
Yeah.
But if you added that one, I would read it. I would read it. I would take it.
It's just, it would be too good of a book, because that's essentially fan fiction right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Grabbing all these characters, throw them into one book and say, you know what, let's just have fun with this and do whatever we want with them. And, we'll make it to where we can reset everything after we're done. And it's really if you have tempo, you can easily do something like that.
Oh my God. And that's, oh my God. The possibilities, man. I just, what I want? I just want somebody to just, and every time we do this, we do the Hellfire Gala. We have this is something that I was so angry that was just a one shot. But when they did the Hellfire Gala the first time around, they're like, oh, hey, we'll do a book with all the people who lost.
Yes.
And I was like, dude, that should be a thing. That should be it. To be the secret X-Men. There you go. Why is this? Why is nobody making this? And it's they're like, no, we're good.
They'll be like, we're not going to do that.
We don't. Here. here's what we'll give you. We're gonna give you more X-Men books, but not that one.
We'll put lots of variant covers of their outfits out there, and you guys should be happy with that.
Yeah, that's what we'll, which I guess because that's another thing too, that we know that with all these new characters that are cropping up, all these new characters that are jumping into the fold, the Hellfire Gala being what we know it's going to be, it's supposed to be an abject disaster for mutant kind. Talk about a time to come from like what is ostensibly the worst possible future you could come from, and then it's like, man, this is so great. I can't wait to dig my toes into the sand of the beaches of Krakoa.
Everybody's gonna be strutting their best, and then just absolute devastation.
Yeah,
it's gotta be disheartening as hell.
Oh no, it has to be. It has to be. I would be shocked. I honestly would be shocked if like there's so much stuff that's going to be happening, and I'm kind of scared. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little bit scared because there's too much. There's legitimately too much going on. Like, I'm looking at the titles right now for Fall of X. It's X-Men, Astonishing Iceman, Wolverine. I forgot about Astonishing Iceman. Just now I'm thinking about it. Wolverine, Children of the Vault, Invincible. Yeah, Iron Man's, honestly, let's go be real. This is tangential at best. Dark X-Men, Uncanny Avengers, Realm of X, X-Men Red, Alpha Flight, which I don't know who asked for it, but I'll take it. X-Force, Uncanny Spider-Man, Immortal X-Men. What am I supposed to do with all this?
Yeah, someone in the comments said, "How are you going to have a gala without Emma Frost?" And I feel that because Emma Frost is the one that brings it. You know what I mean? And it's going to be. I can see why it would be a disaster if Emma's not there.
Well, because the Stepford Cuckoos, they're the ones that are going to have to step up, and that's another thing. It's funny this comes up too, because who's in charge of the Hellfire Trading Company now? It's Lord Chantel.
Yeah.
And we see her I think the last time I saw her was in Captain America, and it was only just like, she was like, oh, hey, hi, bye.
I'm still alive, guys.
Just in case y'all forgot, I'm not dead. But no, I don't know. Man, here's the thing. Some books are going to have to end. And I hate to say it, but there are some books. I don't know. This is not sustainable. And I know I know what they're going to say, because I say it all the time too. You don't have to read every book, but get out of my face with that. You know what we do here. You know what we do here. Of course we're going to read every book.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, especially when it comes to their events, there's so much of it that's connected together, which is a good thing for the reader, but also a bad thing for our wallets.
Yes.
It's fun to see it all cross over, especially Beast and X-Force and Wolverine and all that going on. And so it's nice to see it all intertwined together. It just sucks on the wallet because it's so hard to keep up with it. Your average everyday person isn't going to want to spend, $40, $50, $60 every Wednesday. You know what I mean?
Because how much, I think if I might be misremembering, because I just click buy, was one click buy on Amazon when I buy my books. I think Sins of Sinister Dominion, which granted this is an outlier because it's an event book. I want to say that book was like $5.99.
Yeah, I think it was like $5 or $6.
Yeah, I like I'm giving it $4.99 minimum, but I'm almost positive that right as I was about to, because I pulled the web page up, and immediately was like boop. I didn't even really look at the price. On the whole, I want to say like all the other X books are like $3.99, $4.99, something like that. But could you imagine? And man, I kind of want to. You know what? I'm gonna do the math on this. I just want to see. I just really want to see. Like, if so. I mean, granted, duh. Not all these books are coming out the same week, but let's just pretend for 5 seconds that maybe 3 or 4 of them come out the same day. you are like, I'm gonna be kind. I'm gonna be kind and say $4.99. Because that's we're just gonna say that, dude. Let's say 4 books drop. That's 20 off rip.
Yep,
that's 20 off rip right there. Mm. Do you know what I could buy with $20?
Yeah, they're really like they need to earn our money with these. And don't get me wrong, some of these titles have definitely earned that money, but then there's other ones like I've been covering the Marauders. I love the Marauders, but the Marauders is confusing as hell.
Thank you.
So hard to understand. Like I've had to go back and reread it 4 or 5 times before I do my video. Just try to understand what is going on, and then I'll go back and be like, I didn't understand that right at all.
Yeah. About shout out to JT. Yeah, $5.99 for sins. Thank you. $5.99. What are we doing here?
Yeah.
What are we doing here? And I will definitely say too, speaking as a person who read Marauders, thank you for saying that, because so let me pull back the curtain a little bit. And for those of you who do follow me, you probably noticed I just stopped talking about Marauders after a little bit. And you were probably sitting there going, man, dude, Blurred hadn't dropped a video talking about Marauders in a minute. There's good reason for that. The reason is when a book makes me feel stupid, I don't want to talk about it. Yep. And not even just a book. It doesn't have to be a comic book. It could be a novel. It could be a full-on novel. There are certain novels halfway through I'm just like, yeah, put that down. There are movies I've watched where I'm like, ooh, this is...
I'm out of my league.
I'm like, I feel like maybe I should have gone to college. I feel like if I'd have gone to college, I'd had a better understanding of what it is they're saying to me. And that's how I felt with Marauders. Like, honestly, when the final issue came out, I didn't even bother trying to read some of the previous ones. I just went online, went in X spoilers, looked for anybody that was talking about it, and just said, could you just tell me what happened? Because I can't.
100%. And that's how I felt with Legion of X as well. Legion of X had me feeling that way as well. It's just like, don't get me wrong, I'm still covering it, but it's one of those I have to go back and read it 5 or 6 times before I fully understand what they're talking about and what they're going on about. It has a lot to do with theology and philosophy. And it just goes on and deeper and deeper. And it's like, Jesus, Nightcrawler, come on.
Look, let me tell you something. There's a reason why I waited till issue 10 came out and just did 3 separate videos about issue 10. There's a reason I did it, because I was like, this is too much to talk about. Okay, now I got to go back into the history about Nightcrawler and his adopted mother. Yes. Now I got to go. Oh, wait, now we got to talk about this Phalanx business and how this. Look, I love Cy Spurrier as much as the next guy. But I'm going to tell y'all something. Y'all, I know some of you who follow me, y'all know I have talked cash money trash about Legion before, because I used to not like that character, and a lot of the reason was because of Cy Spurrier. Because it was just too weird. Yeah. And then when Way of X came out, I was like, you know what? I get it now. I get why people like this character so much.
Yep.
And then we got to Legion of X, and I was like, okay, Cy Spurrier's back to being Cy Spurrier again. Okay. All right, well, it was good while it lasted. It was good while it lasted.
Yeah, I think my favorite thing so far in this era has been him and Uranus having that conversation between each other and listen, bro. We could duke this out. It could be really bad, but I don't have time. You don't have time. You leave me alone. I'm
He's like, I got an hour.
Yeah, I got an hour, bro. And I don't want to spend that all beating you up.
Yeah, it's like I just let me just go do this over here. Can we do this over here? Or I tell you what, if we can convince Marvel to bring back Eternals.
Yes.
Under Kieran Gillen, maybe we can do that there. How about that? Is that cool? That's cool. Which, by the way, I don't know, Marvel, if you're out there somewhere, bring back Eternals by Kieran Gillen. Just,
absolutely phenomenal work. It was absolutely phenomenal. It had me sold. I was buying every issue, every one shot. What was it? Uranus, the Heretic.
The Heretic. Yep.
Oh my
Celestia. God. I'll tell anybody. I don't care what you feel about Eternals. You can sit here right now and tell me the Eternals don't matter in the Marvel Comics universe. But I'm going to tell you, speaking as a guy who has only ever liked one run of the Eternals prior to Kieran Gillen, and that was the Neil Gaiman run, Kieran Gillen is right up there. Actually, matter of fact, I would bring Neil Gaiman down a step and put Kieran Gillen on top. So yeah, no, bring that back so we can have that. But no, I definitely feel the pain that a lot of other people feel. Like a lot of people think, oh, Blurred just loves everything. That's not true. It's not true. I love a lot of stuff. But I choose to talk about the things I enjoy because I hate talking about the things I don't because it makes me feel like I always like, and I know some people say, oh, well, that's kind of part of the job. And it's like, no, it's not. No, it's not. I would rather talk about what I like, even the single issues I enjoy of stuff. I will be the first person to say there have been things that have happened in Sword and X-Men Red and Immortal X-Men, all three of which are books I love. There are things that happen to those that I don't like. I just choose to ignore them. Because Al Ewing and Kieran Gillen can do no wrong, and that's how I choose to see things.
100%. This is exactly how I look at it too. Like, there's things, and I'll tell people like Spider-Man. I've dropped Spider-Man because I was covering it and I was excited. I was like, yeah, we're gonna get into this. We're gonna find out what happened to Spider-Man 6 months ago. And here we are 25 issues in, and we still don't know. No. And then I just covered Black Cat or Mary Jane and Black Cat, and it's a very interesting story, but still doesn't reveal.
It doesn't matter.
Mary Jane, it doesn't matter.
It's you know what it is?
Jackpot powers.
That's a fun book. Yeah. I always like to tell people this because there's some people like, oh man, this book is trash because it doesn't connect to anything. And here's the thing. There are different types of comic books out there for everybody. There are comic books that connect to like some wider arcing narrative that like you got to be dialed in on 20 other issues of 20 other books to be able to keep up with. And then there's just dumb, fun books. Like you don't got to read nothing prior. You don't have to have any like 30, 40, 50, 60 year history knowledge of anything. You can just pick that thing up, read it, put it down. Your life is no better or worse for having experienced it, but you probably had a good time. You didn't hate your time with it. That's what Black Cat Mary Jane is for me. That's just fun book. Book. Doesn't mean anything.
Two of them going on a quest had no ramifications whatsoever, except for him maybe, trying to go for the throne of Limbo. That's the extent of it. And honestly, after that run, I'm like, yo, Sam, you're my boy. Like, go get him. Go get Madeline Pryor, throw her off her throne. You're up there.
Yeah, and I'll be the first one to say, too, like, Spider-Man. I stand for Spider-Man as long as I could. Because I won't lie. I liked the initial Zeb Wells Spider-Man. I was like, I'm going with this. I'm enjoying this so far. I'm fine with it. I didn't even mind Ben Reilly becoming a bad guy because I'm not attached to Ben Reilly. Okay? I don't care. I grew up during the Clone Saga. That man is responsible for a lot of PTSD in my life. Let's put it that way. Clone Saga was single-handedly responsible for me stopping reading comics for almost 10 years. But when it got to it was like, okay, all right, I'm waiting to see when we're going to get the answer. And then the answer never came. And then when we did get a half-ass kind of teasing an answer, it was like something stupid. And then I realized once I realized where Zeb Wells was going to, that he was reaching back to an arc from when he was originally writing Spider-Man years ago, I was like, oh, I didn't even like this then. This is where we're going. This is a choice.
Yeah, it's a choice.
It's a choice, man. I respect it, but I can't go with you on this journey.
He definitely committed himself to it. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But so let's get a little bit to Sins of Sinister. I want to talk more about Charles Xavier because we have seen. I mean, a lot of people have said Charles has always been a villain, and he just really been undercover, so on and so forth. But we really, in the last 6 months, have seen a huge decline in his morals and his ethics and his treatment of his own son. Going down all of this, and many have speculated that it could be Onslaught has essentially imprinted onto him, and this is what is causing all this. And I think that theory holds a little more water after we have seen Sins of Sinister Dominion, because he was the one to suggest, no, we need to go down into the pit, and we need to do it now until we can figure it out.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on Onslaught still having some kind of hold, especially on Charles Xavier?
Man, two things I can say. One quick and one maybe a little bit quicker. One, please don't bring Onslaught back. I don't want to go through that again. Yeah, I said the Clone Saga was what made me run away from comics, but Onslaught was what kept me gone.
Yeah.
Like, I was kind of halfway thinking, ooh, who's this Onslaught guy? Yeah. And I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna go back to playing video games all day, every day, and yeah. No, I really hope. I mean, I know Onslaught's still out there. I wouldn't be shocked if that were the case. Like, if something happens, maybe like Onslaught is, especially like, even if it's like on the slightest level, some kind of an influence. But man, one thing I always try to remind myself is that Xavier's always been a terrible person.
Yeah. Like,
he's a good guy who wants to do good things, but he's going to do them in ways that don't necessarily take everyone else's well-being into heart. And it's the same thing that Magneto warned Storm about. Is that Charles is going to do something, that he is going to make a choice, and he's going to think that he's doing the right, and maybe he is doing the right thing, but he's going to be doing it probably for the wrong reasons. Yep. Or maybe for the right reasons. He's going to do the wrong thing, but for the right reasons, and it's going to hurt everything. And honestly, I feel like maybe this was one of those moments. Yeah. Maybe he should have just, because honestly, and I don't know, once again, everything I can say now with the benefit of hindsight. When Mother Righteous told them what was going to happen, one of my first thoughts was, well, okay, going into the pit is one thing, but if you know that you are going to be taken over by Sinister, why don't we just kill you and then resurrect you normally? Yeah.
Make sure that the body is completely clean of any Sinister gene. I was actually thinking about this too, because another solution, now that the Iraqi people are being more welcoming to resurrection, we have Tarn the Uncaring that is still out there that can be resurrected. Yeah. And so his ability is literally being able to manipulate the genes and take away X abilities. Yeah. That's an easy solution to solve any Sinister problem that, the genes may be messed up. All he has to do is readjust their genes and they're good to go.
He can get rid of it. The question is, what would he put in his place?
That's
the question.
It is Tarn the Uncaring.
He don't give a damn. Honestly, I remember when he was first introduced, I was like, this has a dumb name. But like, the longer it went, I was like, his name makes total sense. Yeah. His name actually makes total sense now to me. I was like, that tracks. No, I just felt like, maybe this could be that decision. Yeah. And everyone is just blinded. Everyone's wearing blinders with Mother Righteous. And like I said in my video for it, I get it. No, I know she's not, she's wearing her mask. So clearly no one can see the heart on her forehead. So there's no, and they have no reason to even suspect that she's a Sinister clone. But at the same time, I'm like, man, y'all just gonna take her word on all this, huh?
I guess the writer could go down the route of, magic.
Yeah. Or honestly, you know what I did? Because I this is something I do with everything. Like and I think a lot of other people do this too. But sometimes when when something comes to the office that is in your brain labeled suspension of disbelief, there's like a quick kind of papers please level of yes or no, pass or deny. And that's kind of what happens with me. I just kind of look at it and go, I'll just kind of work out some quick, mumbo jumbo in my head and be like, that's probably why it happened. Honestly, the thing in my head was maybe Charles just did a really quick scan of her. Yeah. And we just didn't know. Maybe, oh, yeah. She's telling the truth. All right, y'all carry on. Okay.
Now, but this has gotten me thinking more and more how essential Magneto really was to Krakoa, and just being there in general to make sure that Charles is really checked. Because when it comes to everybody and all the mutants, it's not even necessarily a power level thing. It's more of like there's no peer to him. He has nobody that went up with him besides Magneto, them to essentially forming their own things, doing their own things along the way, and becoming who they will be. But Magneto was always, like, I hate to say it, but like Magneto is the voice of reason in the Krakoan era. He is the one to say, hold on, guys. Like I'm definitely one to go wreck shop.
Yeah.
But I think you guys need to think about this for a second.
Right.
It's crazy to see that those roles are essentially flipped, in a more public way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's not necessarily hidden from all the other mutants anymore. Like it's very noticeable to everybody how much each of them have changed as the Krakoan era has gone along.
He doesn't even have Apocalypse. He doesn't have Apocalypse be like,
Yeah, and because Apocalypse is, I guess, in Ameth, and he's been there since what was it, the Ten of Swords event?
Yeah.
And he just hasn't popped up at all. No one's decided, thought maybe we should go get him for what's going on. Like, and it's crazy that they're keeping him in the back pocket too. Especially, he went off with Genesis, right?
Yeah, Genesis. Yep.
Yeah, and so he went off with Genesis, and they just disappeared. And it's just like, when are we getting more of them?
We've seen Apocalypse one time.
Yeah,
and I think it was in Sabretooth, and it was a blink. And it was like, I think Mole bumped into him or something.
Yes.
And then it was like, oh, and Apocalypse just like doing his normal big guy brooding thing. And it's like, oh, never mind. I'll go elsewhere. And it's like, you should have spoke to him. Maybe he would have said something. I feel like Apocalypse is that guy that, like, he's been a bad guy for so long and everyone's terrified of him. But like, if you actually just sat down and talked to him, he's probably just like normal guy.
Give you a sandwich.
He's like, hey, you want something to eat?
Yeah.
You look hungry. I can scramble up a couple of eggs, maybe throw some hash in the skillet or something. Yeah. Tea?
Yeah. All right. So we're about an hour in. So before we close this up, I do want to get your thoughts on what is going on with Beast, and what, if any, ramifications, because now that the Quiet Council has essentially been cut in half, what does that mean for Beast? I mean, don't get me wrong. The Quiet Council already said they don't care about what Beast is doing. Each and every one of them are like, you know what? We're just going to turn a blind eye to what he's doing.
Yeah.
And then we can just point the finger at Beast. Be like, he's the one killing all of you guys. It's not us. It's actually Beast. We're not stopping him. But it's him.
No. Well, yeah. He stole our stuff. We're yada yada. We don't talk about Beast. He's Bruno now. He's Bruno. Yeah. We don't talk about Bruno. That's Beast. It's funny. I don't know what they're gonna do as far as because now the council's fractured, leadership is broken, the chain of command is not what it used to be. And right now you got to think about it. Sebastian Shaw, Destiny and Mystique, and Colossus, who is, I can't believe I'm saying this in 2023. He's a psyop.
Russian spy.
He is. He's literally a Russian spy. My God, what is happening here? So you got 4 bodies on the council right now
who are corrupted in some way, shape, or
form. They're not on the up and up. I think Destiny and Mystique are probably the closest to being like, having some kind of a moral compass.
Just a little bit.
Just a teensy bit. But then that means that leaves Nightcrawler. You got Kate Pride. You've got Storm. And I think that's it, right?
Yeah.
I don't think there's anybody else.
Yeah.
I guess Cypher's still hanging around, but
he just hangs in the back.
Yeah, he just chills in the back. He's not even really like, he's like, Crow said that ain't cool. It's fine. It's fine. No, we're not doing this. No, but I do want to know, like, how does this play out now? What do we do? Like, what do we do about, because right now Hank is out here acting a whole monkey. This guy's out here got clones of himself.
Yep.
But no, and I see JT, Hope is alive.
Yes. She's
in the pit. She's in the pit, chilling.
And if the pit is anything like Sabretooth left it, it is a literal hell.
Yeah.
And so we're gonna see what that is.
That is just so wild to me. But yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do about Beast. I feel like Beast is just gonna kind of go do his own thing. I feel like at some point Beast is gonna get he's gonna get killed. He's gonna get killed, but I feel like even in death, I feel like there's still gonna be another, like kind of like what they did when Wolverine killed Beast. And then there was the reveal that, oh wait, he has his own little resurrection hidey hole, where he just backs himself up automatically. I feel like even if they do kill Beast, there's gonna be one Beast left.
Yes.
There's still going to be a Beast running around out there, and he'll just operate even more in the shadows.
Yes.
Or even, and I've even talked about this too. I feel like they will bring back the, oh my, stars and garters Beast. Oh my. Let me quote some Alfred Lord Tennyson while I mix up these potions and serums. No, they're going to do that. They're going to bring him back. But I feel like this Beast is going to be the new Dark Beast. Yes. Like he's gonna be the guy that hangs around, and we'll get back legit Hank McCoy, which it's fine, whatever. I don't care. Honestly, I just want to keep Dark Beast, Neo Dark Beast, which is crazy. There's two Dark Beasts running around now.
Yeah, the other Dark Beast, Sinister, had in his laboratory, keeping him as a pet, essentially. He was like, he even told him, like, you're not even that dark of a beast anymore. Like, you're out here just messing things up.
You're a regular beast now.
Yeah, you're just a regular beast. Get out of here.
Oh, my God. But yeah, if they do, I would love to. If they do a Beast book, I'd read it. Mm-hmm. I would read it. And as long as Benjamin Percy's on it, I'm good. Let's go.
As I say, people want to know why they didn't read Mother Righteous at the end. Like we don't know either. That's it's a big question that nobody really. And the only thought I can like we said, we are trying to rationalize it in our brains the best we can, make it make sense. And the only thing I can think about is that she is more on the magic side, so maybe she has a spell up. Maybe she's able to block out, mind readers and telepaths by some kind of magical way. It's the only thing I can think of that would actually make sense on why they didn't read her. But then again, if they can't read her, they would be a little more suspicious, or you think be a little more suspicious.
Well, I'll give you this. There's some throwaway dialogue in there with Destiny where, I think we're like Mother Righteous says, oh, this is this, this is that. And Destiny's like, oh, yeah, that was a thing. And Charles is like, oh, yeah, you knew? And she was like, yeah, but I didn't want to say too much because blah, blah, blah reasons. And I was kind of like, oh, okay, maybe that's it. I don't know.
Yeah.
It seems like it's almost too convenient. If there was any one thing in that series, that crossover that I felt was like, that's a little convenient, it would be that. And honestly, in the grand overarching scheme of a story arc, there's gonna be stuff like that. You're gonna have stuff that's gonna be like, seems kind of convenient. Yeah. It's like I always tell people about horror movies, one of my favorite genres of anything. If they don't go in the house,
they can't be murdered.
They can't be murdered. There's no movie. I've wasted $15. And if they go in the house and they do the sensible thing and leave, I have yet again wasted $15.
You paid for somebody to go to Airbnb.
Right. I don't go watch horror movies to see people make wise decisions. Okay? I go to see them make dumb ones, because that is what gets me maximum murder. So that is why that's why a lot of times, and maybe it's an age thing too, as I have gotten in my old age, I just go with stuff more frequently, unless it is just egregiously stupid. Like, I mean insultingly stupid. Like, you are absolutely positively insulting my intelligence levels of stupid. I'm just like, it's whatever. It's a comic book.
Yep.
This is what they do. This is what they do. The superhero gets the bad guy. That's what they do.
Yeah, that's what they do.
The bad guy wins somehow.
So I've seen this question a couple times in the chat. This will be the last thing we talk about before we close it out. Legion reaching Dominion status or still survive post Sins of Sinister. So Legion could have survived post Sins of Sinister because he essentially took everything with him when everything was kicking off with Sinister's taking over. So it's a possibility. I don't think that he would be a Dominion per se.
Yeah.
I feel like more he would just like hang out in the astral plane. I just don't feel like it would be his bag. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It feels out of character for him almost.
It really, like, the only way I can see him doing it is if it were by accident.
Yes. He just accidentally stumbled upon it because of his powers. And you're just like,
yeah. Because I actually forgot about that.
Yeah.
That, because it was such a throwaway scene of him. I think, was that Nightcrawler's? Was that Nightcrawler's 1 or 2?
I can't remember. Mother Righteous came to him though. It was like, hey, you know, we can still work things out. And he was like, nah.
Yeah, that, you know, and honestly, I'm so glad you said, because I'm not gonna lie, Slick forgot about it.
Yeah.
But no, if that is the case, I don't think he would have done it on purpose.
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't know. I feel like he wouldn't have spoken that way to Sinister.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I feel like he still would have had his normal Legion kind of way. Kind of like, you know, people talked about Moira, how, like, you know, it was like she had to go back to being a cyborg to start talking, like, with her accent again. Mm-hmm. That's why I'm kind of like, maybe that would be a thing. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like, yeah, that's something. If that's the case, if that's the reveal, I would go with it.
Yeah.
I would go with it, but I would be a little disappointed. I would be a little disappointed.
Yeah, because you don't want it to necessarily be a good guy, you know, at the end of the day. No, especially after what we saw in Sinister just popping like a bubble.
Yeah.
You know, and it just it just feels a little out of character.
Yeah.
A little like you wouldn't go that route, but
it would be the Gene Engineer. It'd be the Gene Engineer all over again. Like when that reveal was made in X-Force.
It's like, what?
I was like,
I had to go into Google and be like, who is this? Because I don't know. It was somebody who did comics for 2 issues back 30 years ago. Okay.
Yeah. Cool. I was like, because like the whole time I was like, he's got to be a Sinister clone. And then when it turned out to be Mother Righteous being the last one, I was like, well, then who's this guy? And it's like, I was like, really? This dude? Y'all picked this guy? Like, I vaguely remembered him. No, I didn't remember his name as the Gene Engineer, but I was like, I remember hearing this dude's name once or twice. And I think it's only because I went back and I was rereading like a random issue of X Factor for something like related. I think it was actually in relation to Hellions back when that was still like fresh. And that was still kind of in the back of my head. And I was like, oh, wow. I was like, y'all really, man, y'all, dude, Ben, what are you doing? Why are you going back this far, my guy?
He wanted a deep pull.
I was like, I was like, man, you're showing some age going back this far. Like, this is, I was like, Ben, come on, man. Talk to me, man. Talk to me, my guy. I'm like, dude, this has been much. It's been much. Even for me. The guy who loves everything. Even I have to be like, I mean, I like it, but man, I don't love it.
And that's who you want this guy to be, the Peacock Man. That's cool, I guess.
I think he should have just remained Mr. Peacock. He should have just remained Mr. Peacock. That would have been great.
Just leave it at that. Yeah. He's the Peacock Man.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. That honestly, that would have. I wouldn't have liked it.
But it would have been better than.
But it would have been better. Yeah, it would have been an infinitely better. Like if he just would have been like, I'm no one.
Yeah,
I'd have been like,
all right.
That's a choice, but you know what? X-Force has been great up to this point, so continue.
All right, guys. On that, we are going to cut it out. So you guys, you know where to find Blurred Without Fear. You know where to find Comic Breakdown. Make sure you guys check out both of our YouTube channels. Like you said, most of you guys are already crossover fans to begin with, but if you're not, please check out Blurred Without Fear on YouTube. You can check him out on Twitter. He's always tweeting, talking about his ideas and theories, and usually some of them are pretty good.
I try.
Yeah. Anything you want to say before we close out?
No, just thank you for having me on. And hey, I would love to do this again. And hey, everybody, y'all have a wonderful rest of the week and stay reading.
Yep. All right, guys. Till the next time. There we go.